Hey, welcome back to this Firebase demo. We're ready for part 3, where we are going to do the database writes. We're going to focus here on this Save User Info button. We may eventually get to this confessions functionality, which goes into the table view, but we're going to get started with the basics first, and if there's time, then maybe we will get to the more advanced features. So with the database writes, I'm on my DB write view controller. And before we go too far, I want to go back to my console. Let's see here. I'm going to go to database. And let's see. I'm going to skip past Cloud Firestore, even though that's the newest product. I've had some issues with it, with my school's Wi-Fi blocking that for some reason. And then I'm going to scroll down to real-time database and hit create database right here. And this is an important step. It's going to start in locked mode, which means you will not be able to read or write to the database. We want to change that to test mode, and it gives you a warning saying that anybody with the database reference will be able to read or write to it. So this is not secure. So you're supposed to write out some different rules for who is allowed to write to which parts and who's allowed to read to which parts of your database. But we're going to start in test mode where anybody with the reference can read and write to the database. Great. And then this error or this warning will be here, letting you know that your security is not good enough and that you should definitely change that before you make your app public. So now that the database is created, you can come back over to our DB write view controller. We can import Firebase. And I've been doing some testing since our last video, and it turns out that I think this is the only import statement we need. And we don't need to explicitly say import Firebase database. It's already here for us. So now, the way we access the database is with something called a database reference. So if we were to do like ref equals database.reference, that would get us started. Okay, and then we can do reads and writes to the database. Well, if we create the reference inside viewDidLoad, then obviously we can't use this reference inside of our buttons. And it would be a little bit cumbersome to always create this reference in every button tap, so then we're tempted to move it outside the viewDidLoad. But if we do this and we run our app, then this function gets called before Firebase app.configure. And it results in a crash saying we haven't configured our app before we have attempted to make a reference to the database. So to fix this, we're going to change this to var. I'm going to, I will copy this entire statement, and I will delete up to ref, and I will just make this a type database reference, and I'm going to promise that it will be there. Now in my viewDidLoad, I can set the reference equal to the initialization of the database reference. Okay, and now I can use this ref to refer to my database and do reads and writes from here, anywhere in this view controller. Okay, so you can see when I hit my Save User Info button, I want to save their first name, last name, and their age. And this functionality would probably have been done when we created our user over on the authorization tab. But for our purposes of making it very explicit of what's happening when and why, we're going to make it its own button that saves to the database. Yeah. So the first thing I want to do is grab the values from each of these. So I'm going to do let first name equals first name tf.text, let last name last name tf.text, let age equals age tf.text. And I want the age to be an integer, so I am going to safely unwrap this, else return. All right. The reason why I'm doing this is that I want to show you that we can write strings, or we can write numbers to the database. We can save arrays, we can save dictionaries. So I just wanted some other type of data other than a string. And if we just grab it out of the text field, you already know that it's going to come back as a string. So I'm going to force that, or safely convert that to an integer. And if they don't type in an integer, then nothing else will ever run. All right, now that we have those set up, we can use our database reference to write to the database. So I'm going to type ref. And then the way this works is that every node is a child. So I will show you here. We can do this by hand too inside of the database. If I hover over this, I hit the plus, you can see I can create a node. So I can call this users. And then if I hit another node, we can do demo. And if I hit another node, then I can do like first name, dummy, last name, user, age, 100. When I hit add, this gives you a pretty good idea of how these children nodes work. So I have a user's child, and inside of that child I have another child called demo, and this demo user has three properties: age, first name, last name. And these properties are a dictionary. They're key value pairs. And so this is the sort of thing that we're going to do for our signed in user. So we want to go to users, and our next child I want to be the user's unique ID, so that we are saving at a place where we know that will never be overwritten by another user. So instead of the word demo, we're going to have their unique ID, and then they'll have their three properties. So in order to do that, I need to first get the unique ID. So let's do if let current user equals auth.auth.current user.uid, safely unwrapped. Now we have access to this current user, cut and paste in there, and now I can just say I want to make the next node at current user. And now I can observe, query, remove, and I can do set value or update child values. So let's do write data to Firebase data at this location. So this is going to overwrite, the set value will overwrite anything that's there. And you can see that it says value any. So this is going to write as a key value pair. So this is like a dictionary, so you can see I did that pretty quickly, but I put a couple of square brackets in here. Okay, I deleted that placeholder code. Now I'm making some space so that we can set our key value pairs. So the first key is going to be first name, colon, and now we're just going to pass in this first name value. And we are going to have the key last name. Going to pass in last name as a string. And then our final key will be age. And this will be age. Okay. And I haven't handled any errors like if they leave this blank or other things. So I would definitely want to check to see if things are blank and prevent the user from writing to the database if they were. But as it is, every time they press this button, we're going to reference a text fields. We are going to check to see if there's a current user. If there is, we are going to go to our database. We're going to go into the node users. We're going to go into the current users node, and we are going to set their first name, last name, and age. So let's run this. Here we go. We are signed in. If it doesn't say user is signed in, then you should go back and sign in. You can now come over here. I'm just going to say first user, age 99. And I love having this set up over here at the same time that I press this button. Let's see. I just want to refresh this page real quick too, just to make sure it has an active connection, because the real-time database will update in real time as soon as I press this button. Here we go. Boom, you can see almost instantaneously when I hit save user info, at users, at the unique ID, age, first number or first name, last name, all updated, associated with our current user. Isn't that awesome? So let me see if I go Firebase demo and change the age to 1. You can see what happens. Boom. Immediately, you can see this highlighted in yellow, which means that we have changed something at those nodes. And right away, it replaces the first name, last name, and age was what was there. Just awesome stuff. So we are just about finished here, but I want to show you one thing that you should keep in mind. Okay, so when we wrote this data, we used the set value call, but you can get into trouble if you already have established data and you just want to update one of the nodes using set value, because this will override every single piece of data at this child current user. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to copy this and comment it out. I'm going to show you what happens if I try to use set value to simply only update the age. Okay, so let me run this again. This time my button is just going to set the value of the age key. So here we are. Let me go in here. Okay, and you might think that this would just update the age and leave these other two alone, but watch what happens. Our age gets updated to 55, and because those other two keys weren't present when I did the set value, they get deleted. So set value overwrites everything inside of this child. So instead of set value to do our updates, okay, so I'm going to add these two properties back in. First name, Firebase, add that in. I'll also add in last name, demo. All right, so now instead of set value, we are going to update child value. So ref.child users child current user dot, and you can see we have update child values, I will just do, oops, Command Z that, double click so that I get my square brackets, age, and let's update that with the age. And I can keep the notation the same as I was using before by using enter a couple times. Let me comment that out now. When we rerun it, now when we change the age, we shouldn't see any other changes to other pieces of data in our database. So let's change this one to 21. Let's get this side by side, and you can see no touches to the first name or last name, simply updating the age here. So if you are establishing the entire tree of information, you might want to use set value. If you are updating it, be sure to use that update value call. We didn't touch this confession at all yet. That pushes into this table view over here. We're going to make that an advanced feature that we will cover in a later video. So in the next video, we will go over to database reads and get our user info and put it into this label. Stay tuned.